Monday, August 2nd. We're in the last week, Meghan, and you did not disappoint in demonstrating why you are terrible at this job. Okay, so we started out the day talking about Kathy Griffin, who just revealed that she has lung cancer, and also that when she went through all of the trouble after the controversial photo that she took was released, that she developed an addiction to pain pills. That was new information too. And after a lengthy explanation about how it's awful when someone gets cancer, and wow, apparently you have personally been affected by people with cancer in your life. That's newsflash. And the amount of words you used to explain that was too many. But then went on to just say, I hate Kathy Griffin because she was mean to my friend Clay 17 years ago. Yeah. I hope Kathy Griffin has a speedy recovery. Let's move on. Because the next topic was Kamala Harris, and that some poll has said that her approval rating is low, or I think it was approval rating, and there's a lot of factors that go into that. You can't say that the fact that she's a woman and the fact that she's multiracial, i.e., not white, don't factor into the responses from people. We have a racism problem in this country, and things like that poll are going to show that. So you can't just dismiss the fact that there is a gender and a race issue going on in her approval ratings. I think Sarah was the one who was most accurate and complete and thoughtful about this, is that she has made some missteps. I'm, a little underwhelmed by her performance so far. I thought she would be a little more aggressive at tackling issues and being transparent and communicative about the work that she was doing. And I don't know if she's trying to take a respectful step behind Joe Biden, and I don't know what that's about. I do laugh when you say she should have had more media training, because I think you got suspended earlier this year from your own program because you called her a moron. Media training. And then you, for some reason, criticize her laugh, which is like, that's a typical Republican right-wing kind of, oh, let's just reduce her to a cackle. You did the same thing to Hillary Clinton in some degree. They like to demonize the opponent, and specifically if it's a woman, be able to somehow, bully and ridicule. So that's fun. That's, you're perpetuating that little stereotype. And then we got to advice. And you said, you got great advice from your parents, and you welcome advice from anyone. So here's some unsolicited advice for you from someone with more years of experience, I guess, on the planet. I don't know what that means. But you need to learn to listen more. In some cases, just at all. Specifically when someone is talking who has a different experience than you have to learn to listen. And the follow-up to that is then not be defensive. You have to take away this whole, insistence you have on being tribal about your beliefs, and be able to sit and listen and absorb without reacting, without defending. You famously once said to Joy on the show, your job is to listen to me, which that didn't go over well either. Excuse me, but as a talk show host, half of your job is also listening, which you haven't been good at. You took this job and you decided you were going to use it as a pundit, not to have a conversation. So you espouse the things you want to say, and if anyone disagrees, it's the hand up. I don't want to hear it. This is what I think, and that's all I have to say. So, you sucked at this. I get it that you're a lightning rod. And look, there's a whole channel about you. I'm sure there's many more than just me. Telling you specifically why you're bad at this job. So it'll be interesting to see if what incarnation you take as a career in your career next, because a chat show host hasn't really been in your wheelhouse. And then we get the last segment where the guest is Mary Trump, who has written another book, and you bailed on the whole thing. I think it was last week when we were talking about nepotism, and you were saying, oh, my work ethic speaks for itself. Your job is to interview guests that come on a show, and you just bailed on it. And I don't know what's so controversial about a woman, an educated, intelligent woman writing a book and hawking it on your program. You do this all the time with people who've written books, and some people are not very educated, and some people are not very intelligent, but they've written books anyway, and they come on your show and they hawk them, and you talk to them. But for some reason, Mary Trump was too much for you. Probably because the last couple of times she's been on, she's eviscerated you in your attempts to, get her in gotcha questions and get her to admit something that is undeniably false. But then, delightfully, she called you out on it. She called out the Republican Party. She called out the racism problem we have in this country. She called out the Republican Party for being the majority of the problem of that outward racism. And she called you out for not having the courage to come on the show and talk about it. What more needs to be said about how you're terrible at this job? You literally just didn't do it today. Unbelievable. 4 more days.